what I'm doing on stage.
Oh.
Can you say something? Just to check it's good.
Test.
What do you have for breakfast?
Check, test. Well, you're taking that brave first step for mankind.
Yes. Can I?
Heroic first step.
First question.
Yes.
When did you realise that Pere Ubu had reformed?
When did we realise that it had reformed?
Because I mean, you said in a lot of interviews that it was like a gradual process. You weren't sort of conscious of it happening.
Yeah.
Is that true? It just sort of.
Well, it's not. There was a sense that after a while there began to be a sense that it would come back together, and then it began to more and more. I mean, Tony had started working with me together in a project, and then Alan joined us on another project, and this person joined us on another project.
But was there actually a sort of point where you realised you were sort of back, you were back together again?
Give a few out to the kids who open for us. They don't have any.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the point was when Scott. No, there's not. There's a point that we said, okay, well, this is going to be called Pere Ubu, and that happened in a hotel in Ijmuid in Holland, but there had been a sense before that this is where it was coming to. I don't know what you're asking. That's as good as clear. If you're asking for a specific point in time in a hotel in Ijmuid a year and something ago.
Well, what I'm asking is, why is it Pere Ubu and not David Thomas and the Pedestrians or the Wooden Birds?
No, it's Pere Ubu because it is Pere Ubu. I'm not sure that I can get into a very. It walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck. It's a duck.
Okay then. Can I ask you? I'm really surprised at how well received your London shows were early this year.
No.
You weren't surprised?
Well, it sounds egotistical, but no. We expected that there had to be at least enough fans to fill the ICA twice, and as it were, there was much more than that in London. And so we knew that we were at that point we were good because we had just done a U.S. tour, and so unless we really messed it up.
Yeah, no, but how did it sort of compare to previous times you come over here? And there wasn't such a big response really.
Oh no, back in '78 and '79, yeah, there's a 80. Yeah, Pere Ubu was for the people who loved us, always have loved us,
Well, for me myself, I've always really liked it, but I didn't think that there was that such a big response.
This idea of a big response. I don't know. Well, that's yet to be seen. But there's a lot of people who've liked this over the years, and we've delivered the goods consistently over the years. So, it's not like we're Doctor and the Medics or Hank Langford or John Cooper Clarke or any of these people, or Tom Robinson. They're all bigger than we are, but or Footy, yeah. But
you've had a lot of influence on other bands,
this is what people say.
Yeah, have people asked you about bands like Stump?
This has come up.
No sort of
what?
Bogshed. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're maybe a bit too obscure. But Stump definitely, I think.
No, Petrol Emotion, the REM, lots of people, but
they seem to be like recycling stuff. Well, for me, listening.
Okay, let me give you the concise answer, rather than continuing down this line.
Right.
The point is that people come to us and they say, oh, these people influence you, or this person comes and they say, oh, these people, we're influenced, and the point is that I never recognize it, and it really doesn't make any difference. The things that we should influence people on are the way to approach things, and nobody can particularly sound like us, so I don't know.
Can I ask you how well known you are in America?
We're not well known anywhere. We're not. When you're talking about well known, yes, of course. Well, media attention is worth, that and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee. So we have a legendary status. So we are like the classical musicians band, and we are, we are, a group that you know, a lot of people respect.
Yes.
So, but we're not, I mean, it's not like we're famous, you know, and we just happen to be considered highly by some people.
Do you get a lot of attention though in America?
No.
Do you get any attention?
Yeah, the critics like us. And as I told you, that and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee.
Oh, well.
You know, the critics always have loved us.
I'll just refer to my notes for
Okay.
the question. I haven't got many.
Okay.
When did you first start? That's
1975.
75. And how did you all get together? Were you like a college band?
No, none of us have graduated college.
Oh dear.
No, no. We at that summer of '75, all the groups everybody had been in had broken up, and we had been I had been in a group that had broken up, and I wanted to record a couple of the songs, and so I asked around, and somebody said, "Oh, well, I'd like to, you know, we can do this," and somebody knew somebody, and that person knew another person, and you know, we all got together and did this thing, and we went home and this recording, and we went home and we listened to it, and everybody said, "Oh, this is all right. This is not bad," you know. Yeah. So we got together, and everybody said, "Well, I don't know. It sounds pretty good. So you know, maybe we'll do it." So the point is, this is in the end. There's two things Pere Ubu can be credited with. There's two major innovation, one a major innovation, and one other thing we should be credited with. First thing we should be credited with was that when we heard what came out of us getting together, we said, "Huh, this is interesting. This might sound all right, huh?" You know, instead of saying, "Oh, yeah, this is kind of noisy and messy, so maybe we won't do this." You know, nobody got together and said, "Okay, well, we need a drummer who's going to be like this. We got to get a center player who's going to be like this, and a guitarist going to be," you know. The only thing we should be credited for there was recognizing that what happened was probably all right. The second thing the major innovation that we can be credited with is being pig-headedly practical and being desperate to get from point A to point B, so that when we got to some bridge or something and nobody had any ideas, instead of just fiddling with it, somebody would say, "Oh, well, we'll all hit a chord and kind of go along for a while, and then T will start going, nee, 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 and we'll all come back in again," or something. So the point is that we've always taken a very practical approach to songwriting. You have to get from the beginning of the song to the end of the song. And the one thing we can be credited with is not being afraid to do anything necessary to get to the end of the song.
Why do you say end of the song? Because I read recently where you don't like films ending. It was in the NME.
Oh yeah.
You know, you said you don't like films that.
Number one. In interviews, I make stuff up. But okay, go ahead.
You make me up now. All right.
Rule number one.
Never
Why did you
believe
choose the name Pere Ubu then?
Because you want to know the real reason?
Yes.
The real reason was sounded good, looked good, didn't mean anything.
Oh, well, it does mean.
And the last thing that we did it for was because Jari's production ideas were interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that, you know, the name's sort of fitting in that you're like, you know, anarchic and mischievous.
We're not anarchistic at all.
Well, experimental.
We're not experimental. I just got through telling you that we're extremely practical, and we're desperate to get from one end of the song to the other, and we'll do anything we have to do to achieve that. And if sometimes that means we all go, wow, that's just simply because we're being practical and trying to figure out a solution, and we're not afraid to try solutions that are, you know, wacky.
That come from you've got influences coming in there from other spheres, whether you know. Well, you mentioned in the interview something else. Yes, I've heard you said that you mentioned the Sumerians.
Sumerians. When did I mention the Sumerians? When I was talking about London.
Yes.
Oh, this is not an interview. That's a piece I wrote.
Well, I know, but I think it's very relevant in that.
How?
Well,
I was describing. Okay, you know what I was talking about? Listen to me. You listen to me. Right. You know what I was talking about? I was talking about perspective. Now, as I've said before, Pere Ubu is all about perspective, about looking at something from a different angle, or many angles at once. You understand?
Yes.
And that Sumerian thing was I was talking about London and the perspective that you can get in London. And in London, that's the perspective. You have to get out on the river, and everything is, this watery wilderness. So, I mean, that's all there is about Sumerians. But perspective is the point.
But, well, see, I started looking it up in the dictionary.
Oh, no.
Oh, please. I looked.
All right, I won't hurt
think
you.
it's
Go
very
ahead.
relevant. If I could
All right, go ahead. Yeah, hit it with me.
What about the Sumerians? They were the first civilization. 4,000 BC.
Okay.
And their language they were like the hybrid sort of race, made up of Turks and Hungarians and right.
All right.
This is very serious.
Okay.
And they had it said in the dictionary they had an agglutinative language.
Yeah.
So I looked what agglutinative means.
Good.
And it means to stick or fuse together, and it means to combine simple words without change of form to express compound ideas. And I thought that really applies to your sort of lyrics.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. But no, I do deeply appreciate that, even though I'm making... Okay, we have to calm down now. Yeah, that's interesting, but that has nothing to do with what I was talking about. I was just talking about the river. And have you've seen the river and the warehouses and things. There wasn't any secret.
Well, no, I mean in sort of pop music now, people sort of have sort of conventions about what they write songs about, and you don't. You write. People write about love songs and personal relationships, whereas you sort of.
We write about love songs and personal relationships.
Well, and a lot of it's to do with the environment.
Are you Al by chance? Are you Al?
No.
No? I'm sorry, Jim.
I'm not Al, definitely. Okay. A lot of your songs are like a sort of reaction to the environment, and same as like painters like Turner or somebody like Debussy has you can tell it's a reaction to the environment. It's not sort of human in that.
Well, I mean, okay. So Van Gogh.
Yeah.
So you know how he painted pictures. It's like you would look at a scene, and the way it was painted gave you it communicated the mental state of the viewer. Okay. Yes. And so though it was a picture of a field or something, it wasn't about a field or something. It was about the person that was seeing the field. Yes. Okay. So in the end, yes, we use natural perspectives. We use a lot of different perspectives, and the thing that the song, the thing that you're looking at, a lot of times in a Pere Ubu song isn't what the song's about. It's about something else totally. I mean, and so I don't know if that's what you're saying.
Well, no, I mean I think, but the way you look at language, there's like the idea, the philosophical idea of something like Schopenhauer, where you ignore logical rules of language, the syntax.
You're on the wrong foot here.
Am I? Oh.
Yeah. We're extremely traditional. No. This Pere Ubu is brutally traditional. It's like straight down we're extremely practical, extremely traditional. And in the end, it's about perspective. It's about looking at something from a different view. Now, Schopenhauer and all this stuff, I don't know. I've never read any of that stuff. And I'm sure it's fine, whatever. But the point is that we're not intellectual. We're smart people. We're intelligent. But, the thing we communicate with emotions, and we communicate with pictures and complex images, So, now whatever that means,
Well, I was thinking, you started off in songs like Final Solution that seemed to sort of parody the conventional rock
yes, exactly.
idea.
It's very, very intelligent that you perceive that. A lot of people don't.
But I was thinking that the way you sort of progressed from that to your later work, the more ambient or experimental or whatever, was through, first of all, parodying the rock, the existed norms.
Well, we only parodied it one time.
Yeah. But I thought, that was the way you sort of progressed and sort of developed your own language, your own sort of vocabulary.
Well, yeah. So through time, we we established our own vocabulary, and we began to build on what we had done before, and to create something that a continuous sort of stream. Yeah. Not to hurry you, but we're soon going to be rushed, and I have to pack up. So,
right.
So why don't you just sort of pick out the important ones?
Well, the important ones are. What is your favourite stretch of road?
My favourite stretch of road, the loneliest highway in the country, Route 50 in Nevada.
Yes.
We want the answer, and that's the answer. You know, I can't help it. You know.
Is it very deserted and?
It's the loneliest road in the country. I mean, what am I gonna tell you?
It's not even a Joshua Tree or anything, right? Yeah.
It's just through Nevada. If you've ever been through Nevada, you know what I mean.
No.
It's the loneliest road in the country.
Quick questions. I haven't got any quick ones.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you've asked the good ones anyway.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.